help you understand that suffering is not something that is an outside in thing. It's something that happens from the inside out. Even when circumstances are not the best, it's still due to the way that you're looking at them and the way that you're attaching to them, not the circumstances themselves. Understand yourself so that you can actually enjoy your life.
Today's guest is Johanna Godinez MBA, considered by many to be their personal assistants for life. Johanna is a businesswoman by education, a lifestyle success coach by passion, and a holistic speaker by trade. Designated wellness professional, owner of Beyond Asin Yoga Lifestyle, an international certified yoga school, and MBA, Johanna supports you and your ability to internationally influence any area of life to make your unlimited desires come fruition. Welcome, Johanna.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Anita.
So, what is one of the most courageous things you have done?
Oh my, I've done a few, but I think always having a business has been courageous. In a world where we're told that we should just go to school, get a job, being able to create opportunities for yourself is something that every human has accessible to them. So I'm really excited that I've been able to kind of take those things on for better or for worse.
You're so right there. There's the whole structure, school education, get a job, do good grades. It's the norm, but not anymore.
Not so much.
So that's where. So, what took you on your journey of yoga philosophy and meditation practice? Is this something you naturally fell into or you needed from your experiences? Or was there a need for it?
Yeah, so actually, I after I finished my MBA, it was the end of 2007 and it was January 2008 and I was out looking for a job. I went to school in Charlotte, North Carolina in the States, and at the time they had been laying off a lot of people in the textile industry. So while the economy wasn't doing well, I had only worked for myself whenever I had worked, and I had an MBA. So I was very educated with not a lot of experience. Meanwhile, the market was flooded with people that had a lot of experience, a ton of experience, and were taking those positions because it's the only thing that was available. So I was put in a really tough space where I didn't really know what to do. I'm a very active person. Like, I'm go, go, go all the time. So not having anything to do mentally just wasn't good for me. Um, so I got a bit depressed and I went to a psychologist and she was like, I think you should work out. And I was like, how is that going to help me? She's like, well, the endorphins in your brain. And I was like, all right. So I took 2 weeks and I went to this center and I learned all about working out and nutrition and how to take care of your body. And in my mind, I was like, why aren't we taught this? Like, why don't people understand food? Why don't they understand their muscles? Why don't they understand like how their body burns energy? Like it's to me, it was so amazing that something so basic, every single person has a body. We all walk around in this suit. We must know how to take care of it. So right then and there, I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So by October 2008, I started this journey in corporate wellness. So I would develop corporate wellness programs so that companies could have some breaks from their health insurance agents. So that's kind of how the journey started. But yoga and meditation became a big part of my life. And it wasn't until 2011 where I really incorporated it into my business. And in 2019, it's when we opened the school.
And like you say, everyone's got a body. There's no getting away from that.
No,
Use it.
yeah. I mean, it's incredible to think that like we all learn math, but yet I do very little math now compared to what I did in school. We all learn social studies, and right now I am not a social studies geek. I don't know much about. We learn science. There's definitely nothing I'm doing in science other than like psychology and mindset things like in our bodies, not so much like in the outside. So it's like you learn all of these topics that are very specific into very specific industries, yet the one thing that is yours that you need to, that you're
Yeah.
responsible for, literally you're responsible for this thing, and we just don't even, we don't even learn. And it's, to me, it's incredible, like the power that you can gain just by having knowledge, just by understanding, like you don't, you can just live your life in a much healthier way without really trying.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love what you're saying. You are the founder of BAY Lifestyle and Beyond Asana Yoga School. Explain more about that. What is that?
So Bay Lifestyle is basically the umbrella of my company. Underneath it, we offer one-on-one coaching, we offer
Mm-hmm.
mentorship, we offer masterminds for individuals and corporations. We offer events and retreats like wellness retreats and yoga retreats. We have the yoga school. So Bay
Mm-hmm.
Lifestyle is the umbrella. Bay stands for Beyond Asana Yoga. And Beyond Asana Yoga, the basically the main premise of the school is that right now, especially here in the West, a lot of people equate yoga to something that you do with your body. And that's
Uh-huh.
fine because that could be how you practice yoga. However, most people go to a yoga studio and just exercise. Like they're not actually doing yoga. Even though they're doing what's
Oh.
considered yoga poses,
Mm-hmm.
they're not doing yoga because yoga is the cessation of the fluctuations of your mind. And the goal of
Wow.
yoga is for you to learn how to be the observer of your thoughts so that you don't suffer based on the conversations that you're having in your mind. And all of our companies, all of the things that we do under the umbrella of Bay Lifestyle, in the end, that's our mission. Our mission is to
Mm-hmm.
help you understand that suffering is not something that is an outside in thing. It's something
Yeah.
that happens from the inside out. Even
Absolutely.
even when circumstances are not the best, it's still
Yes.
due to the way that you're looking at them and the way that you're attaching to them, not the circumstances themselves. So whether it's teaching yoga teachers how to teach yoga, focusing
Mm-hmm.
with the understanding of what the philosophy is and what they want the students to get out of the class, and then it's teaching people one on one to get to know
Mm-hmm.
themselves more than anything, because like if you know yourself, then you know where you need support. Period.
Uh-huh.
Like I know I don't like social media. I literally thinking of posting and doing videos and doing all these things physically, I'm like, "Oh." So I pay someone to do it because why would I cause
Okay.
myself that kind of stress if I don't, if it doesn't feel
Yeah.
good, it doesn't feel right to me to be on. So it's one of those things where it takes you knowing yourself, finding that acceptance, and then being able to be honest enough to be like, okay, these are my areas of weakness,
Yes.
or where I have room for improvement. I can either dive down and study or I can get help. And usually getting help is smarter because then you can focus on your strengths instead of building your weaknesses. Like you're never going to make your weaknesses your strengths. So why don't you build your strengths and hire out your weaknesses? That's the kind of the idea behind that.
Absolutely. And I think I personally myself would rather delegate to someone that's good at that. I'm good at what I do, but I'm not good at everything. That's exactly what you're saying. It's so true.
Yeah.
And how many of us get bogged down trying to do everything when, okay, delegate some of the things. You don't have to be perfect about doing everything. And it's not a weakness, it's actually recognizing your strengths.
Yes.
If you're not good at something, that's fine. I mean, there's certain things I'm not good at. I'll happily give to someone else.
Yeah, well, and that's really like our
Mm,
ELM, which are our evolutionary life mapping system. The way that it works is based on that. Like we want to know who you are and how you operate so that we can help you find the support that you need in the areas that you need. Whether that's like
mhm,
another human or it's a course or it's like
mhm.
whatever it may be. So depending what like makes you suffer in your mind, what doesn't make your mind stop, those are the things that we attempt to aid you with in some way so that you can start to take more control of your thought patterns. Because manifesting, which is creating your reality, we're all doing it. We just, most of us walk around not understanding that that's what we're doing. So that
Yes.
you feel kind of like you're a victim to your reality, like you're just like going through this, but you have no idea what's going to happen. Like, we can trace patterns. We can trace, if I do this, this is going to happen. If I do that, that's going to happen. But it takes you like thinking about it consciously. And most of our conversations happen unconsciously. They're just blah, 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 blah,
Mm.
blah, blah, in our heads, like with no purpose, no, but they're still creating your reality though.
Mm, mhm.
So it's choosing how to create the reality by understanding your mind so you can drive your thoughts a little more intentionally. And that's really like, our coaching is based on that. We don't have a specific program that you go through. Our program is 2 to 3 days of you getting to know yourself, being honest with yourself, so that we can find the help that you need where you need it. And so that if it's a long term thing, you can hire that support and you don't need me for the rest of your life. Like, that's not our
Yeah.
programs. The longest program is 1 year. We don't want
Okay.
you around for too long. We love you, come visit, but we want you to be able to take the
Yeah.
reins and start driving your own horse carriage.
What is the difference between um, asana yoga and other methods out there?
Our deep focus on philosophy. Like, we are
Mm.
all about you understanding how the physical or meditation or mudras or mantras or study, how it helps you
Mhm.
understand yourself so that you can actually enjoy your life. Like, that is yoga. The purpose of yoga
Mhm.
is for you to not let your mind control you, for you to control your mind and create your reality in a way where you don't suffer for yourself and you don't make others suffer either. Because yoga helps us understand that we're one. Like, we're just here walking each
Mhm.
other home, reminding each other that we're just an experience happening. The fact that we become so attached to being this human who has all of these conditionings and all of these limitations and all of these beliefs. Beliefs are the funniest thing because beliefs are whatever you want them to be.
Yeah,
There, there,
absolutely.
there is no right or wrong. Zero
Yeah.
right or wrong. There's just our judgment of others' beliefs being right or wrong. So that whole thing is so convoluted. But unless you step out and learn to observe those things, you get stuck in your judgment, you get stuck in your preconceptions, you get stuck in the way that you see things being as right and others being as
Mm.
wrong. Whereas, to be honest, in this life experience, everything is gray. Everything is in the gray area. There is no black or white. There isn't any, because
Mm.
you decide what black or white is. So that alone is, it's completely personal. So
Yes.
it's just learning to see the world through those eyes. And our
Mm.
school focuses on teaching teachers this, so that even though they do learn how to teach yoga classes, physical yoga classes at a yoga studio, they learn that the purpose isn't in their bodies, it's to transcend their experience. And it makes them be able to communicate the message during the physical practice because it gives them a deep level of understanding. So yeah, that's even the main reason why the school even exists, because I've taken over 1,000 hours with different schools. I've done three
Wow.
200-hour trainings. I did one 300
Mhm.
hour training. I did one 500-hour training. I've done 100-hour trainings. I've done 50-hour trainings. And
Mm.
one thing that most of them have in common is that they don't emphasize the meaning of yoga.
Interesting, isn't it? I mean, you touched a little bit about this. You've developed ELM, Evolutionary Life Mapping Method. Tell me more about that because that's really interesting. Life mapping.
Yeah,
I'm all about
you know,
mapping and
it's
yeah.
it's literally that. Like, if you can
Hmm.
think of, a map has a bunch of different ways to get to different places, but you need to figure out one route, right?
Uh-huh.
In your life, your choices have led you places. And you
Uh-huh.
may think, if I would have made this choice, this would have happened. and sit in regret and sit in I shouldn't
Mm.
have done, I shouldn't have said. Or you may say, I really want to be here, but because I have no idea what that looks like, I don't even look over there. I just ignore the fact that that's where I want to be. Because through life mapping, what we want to do is first we look at what makes you you, the way
Okay.
that you think, the way that you eat, the way that you show up in life, the way that you think about others, the way that you think of yourself spiritually, what you believe in, how you believe you're connected to what you believe in. All of those things you've made yourself your reality, right? We got to I need to understand your reality and where what your head is doing. Then
Interesting.
we look at what things outside of yourself are impacting you or are affecting you in some way, like your relationships, your career, your finances, so that we can actually start figuring out a game plan to get you from point A to point B. Because no, do you know who Napoleon Hill is from Think and
Yes.
Grow Rich? So Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever your mind can conceive and believe, your mind can achieve." To me,
Absolutely.
that, like, Napoleon Hill was a
Mm.
major manifester. He understood the universe. Like, my hair sticks up. I feel like I'm related to him in some way. I don't even, yeah. So somehow, some way, he's in my life. But ELM basically helps you lay all of the things that you have going on out, so you can be like, huh, that's how that's working out in my
Okay.
life. And that's how that's showing up in my life. And that's what's going on in my life. And this is why I'm not there financially. And that's why my relationship isn't working. And sometimes the
Mm.
things you find out are totally not what you thought was going to happen. But
Absolutely. I
yeah,
bet.
but that's the goal. The goal is also for you to
Mm.
understand and be able to take responsibility of your life. That's like the really underlying thing of ELM is you're going to have to
Mhm.
take responsibility for your life.
And I think that's the main thing. People just don't this day and age. They seem to think, oh, like you can get that for that, you can get that for that, and somebody will help me with that. But you actually have to do the work yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key point there. I mean, it's all very well people read all the self help books, they go to all these courses. Unless you actually do the work on yourself and understand yourself, there really isn't any point. It might be nice to go to all these things, but yeah. And I think, that is one thing more and more people are realizing, especially the way the world's been the last couple of years. A lot of people have reflected on their lives
Hmm.
and they want a different direction. So I can understand how this would really help that.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we designed ELM the way we did, because like we felt that there were so many programs out there that like sort of
Mm,
fit what I have going on, but there's this caveat, right? And we were
yeah.
like, of course it's going to be like that because we're all individuals and we're all going through
Mm,
really, really specific stuff in our own lives. So obviously, I'm not going to be able to come up with something that's just going to help everyone going through this one specific thing in their life. So it's easier for me to be like, let's look at exactly, truly, honestly, what the underlying thing going on is. What part are
yes.
you playing in it? What part can you not control? How can you deal with what you can't control? What can you control and what do you want to do? And I don't mean like what do you want to do tomorrow? I mean like before you die. Like
Yes.
if you could create, if you knew that your efforts would lead to this thing, what would this thing be? Like for me, I have it very clear in my mind. I want to include yoga and the body, knowing the body, no understanding a human in the school system. I want to change
Yes.
the way that kids read by gamifying reading, and I want to give felons another chance. Like, I want them to
Yes.
be able to prove themselves because
Hmm.
you can't tell me that after someone spent 20 years in prison, then they're going to come out here and you're going to be like, well, everyone's going to know you're a felon. When you get a background check, you're not going to be able to get a job. So, good luck fitting back into society. Check it out. So,
Mm,
there's certain, and I'm very clear about that. So,
excellent.
are these like huge things? Are they totally
Mm,
unrelated? Will I be able to accomplish them in my life? That doesn't matter. I'm not
mm.
attached to that. I'm attached to the fact that I'm going to live every day moving towards this direction, in which these are the kinds of conversations I'm going to be having. And these are the kind of thoughts I'm going to be fostering in my mind. Because if I understand that what my mind believes, it achieves, then I have to be thinking about the things that I believe that are possible. I can't be thinking about the things that I don't want. Because if that's what your mind is seeing, that's what it's giving you as well. Because it's what you're believing. And if you believe that, then if it's negative, then that's what you're getting.
And that's the thing here, is letting go of that attachment as well, allowing yourself to actually be,
Mm-hmm.
focus on what you want, and not so much sometimes, okay, we all get caught up in the end result, but you've got to go through the process as well. It's a bit of a caveat there, which one comes first, just allowing sometimes
Well, and
and
that's really
surrendering.
how yoga, like on the mat,
Mm.
shows up in your life, right? Because if you show up on your mat and you do yoga, you're going to have days when you don't progress. You're going to have days when things just don't go as well as they do. You're going to have days that you feel amazing on your mat. That's how life is. You show up on your mat because that reflects your life. And how you deal with what's coming up on your mat reflects how you deal with situations in your life. So it's just another tool for you to understand your thoughts and be able to disconnect from them and connect to your body through your breath. Like, it's a way to teach you how you look at your thoughts and how you disconnect from them. And I think like everything really in our company is based on yoga, because it's based on that premise of easing the fluctuations of our mind. Um, so the difference is that some people are going to understand it when you say it one way, and some people will understand it when you say it a different way. So we found
Yeah.
a way to just kind of make it so that a lot of people have the opportunity to get the message in the way that they want to listen to it.
And that's what you say, the way they want to listen to it, because everyone's going to hear something different.
And that's why we get to know people, right? So that we understand how they're
Mm.
going to hear it. Because when I learn what you believe in, if you call it
Uh-huh.
God, I'm calling it God. If you call it Allah, I'm calling it Allah. If you call it Jehovah, I'll call it Jehovah. I don't care what you call it. I don't care what you believe in. But I want to be able to have a conversation where we're both talking about the same thing. And if I'm talking about universal consciousness and you have no idea what I mean by that, I'm losing you in the message. Whereas if I can just connect
Absolutely.
to what you believe in, and I can just flip what I'm saying so that you understand it, and then that way I also understand where you're coming from, because I'm attempting to get in your shoes so that I see life
Mm.
the way that you're seeing it, not the way that I'd like for you to see it, but the way that you're seeing it. That's and that's tough, because it's we're so just involved in our own lives that it's hard to step out sometimes and be like, wait a minute, because this person's going through this, they're not going to see things this way, and disconnect from,
And the thing is, here, it's really interesting that it's about connecting with them, being in alignment with them in that moment, so you can actually understand them, they can understand you, or at least they feel you understand them. It's absolutely imperative if you want to get a result.
We tend to do the life mapping live. Like, I have a beautiful space in Puerto Rico, and I invite people to come down and we do a deep dive. And if they like the beach, we go to the beach. If they like the forest, we go hiking. Because the point is for you also to just open yourselves up to possibilities. And where you're in a space where like your energy is flowy, you're more open and more receptive to things. And you tend to take things less personal. You get less defensive about things. So
Yeah.
I also attempt to create a space where people can feel really safe and they can say whatever they want to say. I mean, working with felons, I can promise you, there's nothing I haven't heard. Nothing. Nothing. And like, and I say that with like pride,
Mm.
because like
Oh, bless.
because
Yeah.
it's an honor to have someone put that level of trust and be able to say, I have been a bad person in my life, or what people would consider a bad person in my life, and have made
Mm.
mistakes that have had crazy karmic circumstances. Because
Yeah.
karma is not what I do in this life or what I do in another life or what you get. Karma is the direct result of the actions that you're having, and it's all about your action. It's not about the reaction. but your actions will have a consequence and they will manifest themselves in some way. When you talk about karma in the sense of service, karma just means selfless action. Like
Yes.
you're just acting because you're acting. And it's like you said earlier, like people are so attached to the destination. In karma, you're focusing on the journey. You're just being in the action and being without attachment to what's going to happen, just because you know that that's the action that's aligned with you, because it's what feels good, because it's what just moves your creative energy and makes you get up happy in the morning.
Beautifully put, definitely. And what resources do you recommend, daily tips to anyone that wants to start mastering their mindset with ELM?
So, first, reflect a little bit on the things that you actually want in life. And like I mentioned, like think big. Don't think like tomorrow. Think huge. Don't think in value of money. Money is energy and energy must move. So what would you do if you had unlimited resources? Not, I want to have the unlimited resources. That's just hoarding. Like you can't just hold on to the energy. It doesn't work like that. How would you like the energy to flow? Right? So what do you want to create with that money? How do you want to live with that money? That's what you need to think of. Wake up in the morning and see that. Visualize that and be grateful for having it already. Because praying is not asking for something you don't have. It's being grateful for what's already coming to you. And it changes the way that we're talking. It changes. When you say, I really don't want to feel like this anymore. This is terrible. Please help me. You're literally saying, this is the way that I need to be. Whereas when you say, thank you so much for teaching me this lessons. I am learning my lesson. I'm ready to grow. I am ready for what you have for me. I'm ready to receive. I'm open. I see my life going in this direction. Please send me the opportunities. I am ready to take it on. That's the way that you get what you want. By seeing what you want, not seeing what you don't have or what you don't want.
Absolutely.
By seeing already, like, this is what I would dress like, this is what I would drive, this is what I would, where I would go, this is how I would talk. These are the kind of people that I'd wanna. And and the thing is, it works. Like I said, I'm obsessed with Napoleon Hill. When I started really diving into Napoleon Hill,
Huh?
I met Satish Verna from the Napoleon Hill Foundation in Canada.
Wow.
I met Don Green for the Napoleon Hill Foundation in the US. I not only met Greg Reed, who was an author for the Napoleon Hill Foundation for 10 years, but I got to write a book with him. Like, it's
Oh,
like
wow.
when you just know that there's this connection that you have that you can't deny, and the connection is that he's like, my message is his message. It's just a different way of saying it. It's a newer age thing. So when I listened to him for the first time, I was like, all of these people talk about the same thing. Lao Tzu, The Secret, Esther Hicks, Mel Robbins, Elkhart Tolle, Ernest Holmes, Earl Nightingale, like, you name it, they're all saying the same thing. It's just they're saying it through different words, by calling it something different, by telling you to do it through different but it's all the same. It's all in your mind. You control it. Period.
Absolutely. Fantastic. So, where can the listeners find you online? What's your website?
It's bay-lifestyle.com. But if you want to find me on Instagram, it's bay_lifestyle PR. Or if you're in the States or you want to call international, it's 815-501-5070. I love getting phone calls. I do answer them. If I don't, leave me a message or shoot me a text, I'm probably just with a client, or because I do respect people's times. So when I'm with them, I wouldn't answer it. But yeah, I love having conversations. I love like, if you feel some resistance to the things that I'm saying, call me. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about your resistance and teach me something, and maybe I can teach you something, and we can just learn from each other. And again, my goal is to see why you see things the way that you do, and maybe give you a little insight as to why it serves me to see things the way that I do. And I'm not saying that it's the right way or it's the wrong way, but I'm definitely a happy person. And I really do think that that's the meaning of life. Find a way. your situations, when you step back for a second, are usually very temporary because you've gotten this far and you've gotten over all the crap that's happened so far. So you'll get through the next. But when you get really attached to the moment, it actually lasts longer because you hang on to it. Whereas if you find ways to let it go and move forward, you actually make the situation get better faster. So just always think of what you want, not what you don't want, and yeah, manifest your life, man. It's fun. It's a game. Play the game. It's fun to play the game.
Absolutely. That's excellent. Thank you for sharing your courageous journey with us today. And by doing so, you have helped so many other people. Johanna Godinez, my final question to you is, what is your definition of courage? Because we are all about Create the Courage to be Fearless podcast here. So what is your definition of courage?
My definition of courage is moving with faith, even through fear. Because it's just all about knowing. It's the faith. If you have the faith, it's the only way that you can move through fear. Like truly believing that there's something on the other side, the faith will get you through, and that'll give you the fuel that you need to move forward, even in the craziest of times.